Unicorns, good morning. How is everyone doing? We are at day 120, and I don't know why, but to me that is exciting. Okay, so day 120, our affirmation today is I owe no one. And no one owes me. I owe no one, and no one owes me. You see, the thing is, every time we think we deserve something, we deserve everything. But every time we think we deserve something that we are not getting, every time we think someone should be responding to us in a manner that they are not, what we're really saying is, you owe me this and you're not doing this for me. So there's something wrong with you. And that is not a good vibration to put out there, is it? Right? So this is why we want to remind ourselves that if somebody is behaving in a certain way, it is because of where they are emotionally, and maybe that is temporary and maybe that is permanent. It should not bother me, and I should be allowing enough to understand that people can go down on the emotional scale temporarily, and while they are there, they can act out, but it doesn't have to be permanent. I can make it permanent if I now put a label on it and say, oh, this is who you are and this is who you will be forever. Now I have stuck that label on that person. And so I will, as long as that label is there, I am not allowing that person to change at all. Unless I say things to myself that make me feel that the way this person is behaving is temporary, and furthermore, the reason I'm getting this behavior is because I've gone down on the emotional scale, and that is also temporary because I can do something to change it. See, but as long as we keep thinking, I did this for you and now this is the way you're behaving, have you forgotten what all the things that I've done for you? Do you not remember this and this and this and this and this? Well, then that is being conditional. What you're saying is, you owe me. Nobody owes you anything. You might be the conduit through which an experience comes to someone. But you are not the creator of the experience. They are the creator. And source, they are the creator. They are the allower, and source is using you as a conduit to bring that experience to that person. I say that about myself all the time, to me, in my head. I always, when I'm pre-paving, when I'm praying, when I am talking to God, and yes, I still use the word God. I have no quarrel with God. I always say, I am the conduit for your work. I am the conduit. I'm not creating any of the information that is flowing through me to those who are ready for it. And this is why in my business, I always say those who are ready for me will find me. Because it's not my job to bring them to me. That is the universe's job. That's God's job. That's not my work. My work is to have fun every day doing what I do. And so remember, you are a conduit as well. Source is using you to give someone else an experience because you are a match vibrationally. And so it's coming through you. Now, if you were not in this person's life, someone else would give him that. Someone else would show up to provide that experience to them. And the same applies to you. If that person who is your spouse is misbehaving, and if it wasn't that person that you married, and maybe you had 3 choices and you married the second choice, you would still get that experience. If you had 3 choices and you gave each one of them a try without changing the way you think, your habit of choice will make sure that all 3 of them behave exactly the same way. Because Source will find a conduit to bring you the equivalent of your vibration, what Abraham calls a vibrational match. So, when we start understanding it, we can't hold anyone responsible for anything. We can't say, oh, you are thinking these thoughts about me and how could you? You owe me because I've given you so much love. I've given you so much love and you're not returning my love? Well, the other person doesn't owe you anything. They don't. They don't owe you love. Love has to be given freely and flowed unendingly. And when you do that, you will meet people who respond in the same manner. See? We don't owe anyone anything. And nobody owes us anything. Everything that is happening is because we are what Abraham calls cooperative component. So the universe is using me because I happen to be on the right vibration to provide this person with this experience. That's it. I'm a conduit. If I don't want to be a conduit to that sort of experience, I need to change my vibration, and then I'll be a conduit for a different type of experience. When I become unconditional and I become a flower of love, then the type of things that Source will use me for will be completely different. I'll be a cooperative component to a totally different set of experiences for other people and for myself, right? Everything happens in response to how we are feeling and where we are on the emotional scale. And remember, Source is using all of us. Source is using the birds and the bees and the flowers to, when we match up with those things, to convey messages to us. And we are conveying messages to them. It's a co-creation. It's a co-creative dance. And the universe is the conductor. We're all part of the orchestra. Right? So I don't know anything to anyone at all. So I don't have to feel bad when I say no to you. You want me to do something? Well, sorry, I can't do it. Right? I was in bed last night and I was trying to help a unicorn. And they asked me for a coaching session at 1 a.m. I love them so very much. But that was not a good time for me. I was already in bed and I wouldn't have been able to help them at that time. So I said no. No, it's too late. Sorry. I didn't feel bad because I know I'm useless to them if I don't feel like loving them. Right? So it becomes easy to say no to people when we understand that we don't owe them anything and they don't owe us anything either. The universe always manages a fair exchange. a fair energetic vibrational exchange. And sometimes that vibrational exchange involves the exchange of material objects and things. But it's always a fair exchange. So you don't owe anything to anyone, and no one owes you anything. All right, I'm just going to read some of the comments here. So good morning, everyone who is here. Wendy, Jennifer, Mary Ellen, Margie, and Natalie. Hi, Yolanda, Tasneem, Lucianne. Margie saying, just like my friend telling me she was told to look for a job at McCormick's, and then I checked too. Yes, that's the universe guiding you. Lucianne is saying the worst thing is to feel that you have to give back to someone. Yes, it becomes a burden, doesn't it? Everything I do to my sister, she still thinks I owe her something. Well, you don't have to think that way, Lucianne. When you change the way you think, then you will not get that response from her. It's up to you to change where you are on the emotional scale, and then the world will respond to you differently, because the universe will then use you as a different type of cooperative component. Yes, Jennifer, we all need these reminders, don't we? Sweetheart, Lucianne, you don't have to cut anything or do anything, because think about it, that's pushing back. You don't have to do that. You just have to go up the emotional scale. When you're high on the emotional scale, the experiences that come to you, the way you feel, is totally different. And that's what it's all about. It's not about pushing back. It's just about not carrying any weight on your shoulders. You see, when you think you owe someone something, you carry a weight on your shoulders. And when you think somebody else owes you something, you put a weight not on your shoulders but on your heart. Either way, it's a weight, and it is affecting your emotional balance. Because when you put a weight, then now you have to balance that weight. If you didn't have the weight, balancing yourself would be so much easier. Think about someone who is on a bicycle maybe, or a skateboard, or something that requires them to find their balance. Paddleboard, right, Natalie? So if somebody is on a paddleboard and now you give them something weighty, heavy to carry on their shoulder, it makes it harder for them to keep their emotional balance, right? Physical balance, emotional balance. So that's what it means. When you think you owe someone something, you have a weight on your shoulders. When you think someone else owes you something, you have a weight on your heart. Either way, it makes your job balancing yourself on the emotional scale harder. And that is why we want to remind ourselves, when we feel that weight, we have to let it go and remind ourselves, I don't owe anyone anything. Because if they're supposed to receive something, the universe will find a way to bring it to them. It doesn't have to come through me. Just because I'm your mother doesn't mean I have to cook for you. I had to do that to myself when my kids were younger, right? Because otherwise I had a weight on my heart. So anyway, that's all I have for you today, guys. Unicorns, have an absolutely amazing, fabulous day. I'm going to head into the Unicorn Club now because it is time for their Q&A. And if any one of you want to join, you would be most welcome. Bye for now.